1
1.
a.m. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Thank you for staying up.
No.
I don't know what's happening here. We're not getting your art.
Yeah, now you see me because
Okay.
I become bigger here. Yeah, do you see me? Now you have the share
I
screen.
see you. I'm going to shrink everybody else and look at you. There you go. I don't know how to move this other stuff, but we should take him away from his, not covering his work, but to the side of his work.
Yeah, now.
Okay.
I'm here inside.
Okay, so Leonardo and I spoke the other day, and going through a number of the works, and chose these 3 for the show. And pretty much your whole essence of your work is fun. Is about, to me, is about fun and play. Does that sound like good? Does that feel right?
Yeah, definitely. That's my mood since 4 years, because you know, Europe it's a strange period, also before COVID-19 and this pandemic stuff. So I felt the necessity to express something that enhance the necessity to have fun, to enjoy life, and stay together, to show more love for each other. So then I started to make simplest thing, trying to leave all the stuff that you can find in the 3D, like this, the photorealism, the super high-tech stuff. And I was so attracted by modern design and modern art. And then I tried to, I felt like inside that mood, that for me modern design almost makes me funny, because I was a child when I was in the 80s and late 70s, so it reminds my childhood. So also the colors that I use when it reminds me to the childhood. I was lucky because I had nice parents and had really cool childhood. So yeah, that's the reason why I always try to find this thing, always going on and trying to make my life and the life of my friends and people I know, trying to make it happier and to show that we can be happy.
Tell us about the technique, and what, can we bring up the other ones, Izzy?
Yeah, sure.
Whether you do it or, so here's another one. I love this one.
Yeah.
And here's another one. So tell us about, so they're digital. You were,
yeah, this is
3D painted and digital.
Yeah, this is, I started as a 3D artist. Originally as I did interactive art installation, so I'm really nerd stuff with code. Then I'm here. Yeah, sorry. Then I switched to 3D, but for me 3D as a field was too cold, not so human. So I started applying my textures with pencils and stuff like that, and also my knowledge in photography to 3D. And then I combined it, and yes, it makes me comfortable to express myself with these tools that I can use Pantone, from Pantone to pencils to Stabilo and stuff like that, applied as textures or materials to these digital forms that is like more or less like sculpting.
Wonderful. And the other one, can we go to the third one? I'm going to, just for time's sake, because we have so many artists on.
Yeah, sure.
Just do a little bit with everybody, but I want to invite anybody who wants to. This show is up for 3 months. If we want to do a live, Instagram live chat together, an interview, I'm love to do them. So all you have to do is send me a note later and say, I want to do one, and we will work out a time for that. And we can go more in depth. No, so read, this is the one. So what are we looking at besides beautiful colored
Yeah,
circles.
this is an artwork that is part of a series that is called Harmonic Palettes. As I started not like a visual artist, but a music composer about new music, like Moresh, Bless, Nono, Berio, and stuff like that. I was attracted by the connection between colors and musical timbres, almost in electronic music. So with analog synthesizers like Moog or they Smith instruments like that, because I'm a huge collector of this stuff.
Gotcha.
So and that makes me really happy. So this is part of a series, and this artwork represents like how the combination of these palettes that I made, like a modular grid, can represent like a timbre of a sound made with oscillators modulated with stuff and filters and yeah. And like to recreate like a lush sound that you usually have like with a pad or lead by Dave Smith instruments like an OB6 that it's a combination between Dave Smith and
very cool. I'm going to cut you short because I'm worried about getting through to everybody, but I want to talk with you more about this in our own private viewing room. So will you do that with me another time on Instagram?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, because I have also Alessandra who's also in Italy. Wait, you're in where? Florence?
What?
You're in Florence, right, Leo?
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right. Well,
I'm in Florence.
good night, Florence, if you're going to bed.
Wait, what is his Instagram name? Because
oh, that's good. What's his Instagram is Leonardo Works. Is that your Instagram?
Yeah, with the X, not with
WORX. Leonardo
Works.
WORX is his Instagram. Okay, thank you. And I'm going to move over to Alessandra, who's somewhere else in Italy. Alessandra, you want to unmute yourself? I can see you.
Okay.
Bye, Leonardo.
Bye.
Hi. And let's put Alessandra's, you know what, we can put me on the screen because I see that you have your piece behind you. Am I right, or is it at the gallery?
You hear me now?
There you are.
Ah, okay.
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I know it's a crazy hour there for you. Where in Italy are you? What part?
Yes, I am in Italy, in Trieste. It's 1 o'clock here, but I'm really happy to be with you as well. Also, it is late.
Thank you for staying up.
This is my painting that is not a real painting, it's the painting of the show. And you can see behind me, you can see it?
Yes, and you know what, we can bring it up. We can bring it up also, Izzy, if you want, next to Alessandra or afterwards, so people can get a clearer view of it. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to eat
Because
everything on there.
It's bidimensional in reality. In between is a painting and a sculpture is all together, no? Because it's as you can see is bidimensional, right. And there are also, I start to painting and then I decide that I want that the sweet came out of the canvas, and I like that was a kind of sculpture, but that I can to put on the wall. No, it's
right.
Quite. Is a particular way to work, because I start painting and then I prefer to sculpt. So I try to put all the things together. And also this is I made the inspiration for this artwork when I saw the film Willy Wonka with Johnny Depp, a chocolate fabric.
Right.
You see?
This is what my life looks like at around 1 a.m. every day, around what time it is where you are. I'm a sugar fiend.
Fascinating about this word, this magic word of candy and chocolates, and so I try to put it all together with very colorful, and then I use, as you can see in the last here, I use pins, drawing pins. I don't know if you can see.
They're like thumbtacks. Yeah.
Yeah, and resin and polystyrene, and that's how I made most of my last work in this period, because I paint polystyrene and then I cover with all the pins. But there is a reason that I do that, because the drawing pins as a double side. There is external side, which is very colorful and fun, and then there is the internal side, which go inside the body of the canvas or the polystyrene very deep and hurt. So it's like in life, there is a double meaning.
Right.
There is a very happy and external face, and then there is the point that go inside the metal, that go inside the body of the canvas or the polystyrene and go very deep and hurts. So that's the double meaning, that is not all colorful and happy as you can see, but there is also another kind of meaning which is really deeper, and then you cannot see inside what is happened and if it's hurt or not, and that's the double meaning that I use with the pins. That's the reason, because I really like to use this material, the double side, the external, happy and colorful and very superficial, and the internal, the double.
Well, I thank you again. I'm going to have to move quick, cut you off, because I've got to go. A lot of artists showed up, and I'm going to move through them. Okay. But I'm so happy, and of course, I was introduced to your work through Ohm. So thanks to Ohm for introducing me to your work. That's Ohm from Ohm Bleacher from the gallery.
Nice to meet you. And
nice to meet you. Thank you for staying up so late.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to move over. I'm working through the East Coast, and then I'm going to bounce over. So actually, we're going to go to Montreal now. We'll go to Heidi Spector, although it says Heidi Feldman, because I think it's Heidi Feldman Spector. Am I right?
Yes. Well, yeah, my artist name is Heidi Spector.
There you go, Heidi Spector. Can we bring up, Izzy, can we bring up, I know she's got that great colorful background, but just to show everybody which is Heidi's piece, can we bring that up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
The actual piece is not with Heidi, but hi Heidi, I finally get to see your face.
I know, it's so nice to finally meet you. And all the artists, I'm so impressed with all the art. I'm like, oh, wow, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful.
It looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Oh my God, yeah, I really enjoyed seeing all the different pieces. It's so impressive.
Wonderful.
Really, congratulations to all the artists and to you for curating it. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, so here's Heidi's piece. So again, we're going to cut the time down a little bit with each person shorter, but don't forget, we can do our own thing later on another time on Instagram. So I've been following Heidi's work for quite some time. Always these very brightly colorful pieces. Sometimes they're very large outdoor sculptures in different cities. She seems to be all over. So whenever I look at what she's doing, there's 20 different cities going on at once. So, and this was an available work that we could use. So just tell us about this cube.
Well, this cube is, for me, it's about positivity, which is really great for today, as you said. And you know, the colors just are. I always work with vibrant colors, but this particular piece was about love. For me, a lot of my work is about love, but I originally meant for my work to have no emotional context. However, in the style of Frank Stella, like what you see is what you see. But as I went along, my work became all about like positivity, and there was a lot of emotional reaction, and I couldn't help like the reaction. So every piece is about positivity, happiness, or like the hope of happiness. And this piece included, it was about a love song, you know, just about hope, and basically it's finished with resin. So it incorporates a reflection, and so the viewer is invited into the piece, meant for the viewer to see their own reflection and to feel the color and be like interactive with the art and feel a part of it, and to feel the positivity and connect with it.
It very much makes me happy, and I love bright colors, and I'm happy to hear what's behind it. I'm always, you know, what makes each artist tick. So yes. I'm so happy to have you. Will you do a longer Instagram one with me?
Oh, I would love to. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yes. I wanted to keep it brief, but I would absolutely love to. And I'm really honored to be part of the show.
I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much.
for inviting me, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you. And good night in Canada. By the way,
thank you.
I want to move to Canada someday. So if you know any great single guys, let me know.
I know. I was thinking of you. I do.
Okay. But I don't have to leave in such a hurry anymore. Okay. So.
Okay. I'll unmute myself.
Thank you. So why don't we go to Kiera Anderson in Massachusetts? Kiera, are you here?
I am.
Hi, Kiera Anderson. Turn your video on.
Hi.
Hi.
I have to get my glasses.
So while Kiera's getting ready, I'm going to briefly tell you that Kiera is married to my cousin David, and that I am, besides her mother, her biggest fan. And I also want to say that for those of us, taking a quick political moment, for those of us who are very happy about the outcome of today, that my cousin Kiera texted and phone banked over 2 million people with her team that she put together, and she never stopped. And her sister was just elected as senator in Rhode Island. So we have her paintings from fun, and we have more fun ones coming now that she can take a deep breath. So this is Kiera, and Kiera, this is it for everybody. Can you see me? Can anybody see this? This is my Kiera Anderson painting that I purchased, and I think it looks, one of the reasons I wanted this one is it reminds me as if you took Kiera and her husband David and smooshed them into one person and made them this woman from like the 19th.
I love that.
40s, 50s, that's who this is.
Oh my God.
So I'm the proud owner of this, and it's a whole series that she's done called The Ladies. So you want to tell us a little bit about it, and maybe we could bring up the other ladies, Izzy, if you're able to, that we have.
Yeah, I'll pull them up.
Okay. Kiera, take it away.
Yeah, it's really brief. I found these old photos, you know, like from a photo booth where you have the 4 on a strip. And I thought at first they were from the 60s, but I think that they're from maybe even the 40s or 50s. Thought, yeah. And they're only black and white, and they're very, very little, but there was something about them that really captured me. And mostly because, you know, I know this is an obvious thing to say, but, you know, they're people from a while ago, but they're just like us, and there's no difference. They're same worries and hopes and yearnings and hurts, and so I was wanting to connect to them from that way, and they all seemed, as you said, Kate, to have some kind of a secret or a secret life or a mystery or a secret dream. And so I made these paintings in a kind of slightly stylized way, not really being super realistic, but wanting to just capture their feeling. And I had a lot of fun. So I have 8 more that are almost done. I'm afraid the last week and a half of this election period just pulled me under into that. And soon now that we're victorious, I can get back to it.
Yay. Can you show the other 2? Yes, if you had seen Fun when there were 9 of them, they really looked like they had something underneath that was, really private about, they had their public persona and then they had their private persona. Here, let's see the ladies, number 7. There's one. She reminds me, she's the Rosie the Riveter of the group to me. And then there's another one. And the other one looks like a politician, the next one. If we can get to that. I'll just say this about Kiera while we're searching for that. She has another series, not part of More Fun, called She Rose, where she's painting all of her sheroes, and they're pretty magnificent. Okay, so here now, this one is being blocked by, there we go. Can we enlarge that somehow? There we go.
I see it. I see it.
Sure,
Yeah.
she's a churchgoer, she's a politician, but she's a pill popper.
I think Kate has the best stories about them.
For sure.
They're little. They're only 4 by 6, and there's something very appealing about them when they're together. And the sheroes will be a little bit bigger, 6 by 8, and they're ones that I painted over the course of, I don't know, maybe even the last 8 or more months. And happily so, Kamala Harris is in there, Stacey Abrams is in there, so some very topical Patrice Cullors is in there, Opal Tometi is in there, so a lot of very strong, powerful women who have helped us get to where we are right now.
Fantastic. All right, well, I love you.
Love
I'll
you.
talk to you later.
Okay,
And
bye.
Congratulations on everything, Kiera. Seriously.
Oh, thanks. So good to be here, and congratulations to you and everyone here. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Okay, stick around if you can.
All
right, let's go to California, then we'll come back out there in the country because I can see you guys just waiting there. I see you, Erin Cramer, so let's go to you because you're there on my screen. And there's the one and only Erin Cramer, who I have a long art relationship with. Erin was in the first show I ever curated in my whole life, and then many subsequent after that. I'm cuckoo for his work. He works with recycled materials. And should we bring up, Erin, your pieces?
I can bring it close by if you want. I've got.
Oh yeah. Oh, then we can watch it spin. Okay, everybody. This is called My Head is Spinning.
So this piece is welded wire, and it's got trapped in its head a vintage tin toy top. That toy top is able to be manipulated. I think he's got a pretty good profile too. It's all 3/32 round wire, and I literally started by welding a structure around the toy top. I went through a phase where I was collecting all kinds of old vintage toy tops. I just love the graphics on them and the quality of the engineering of them, and the resilience that they've been played with by a million kids, and they've still stood up. But yeah, this piece is one of about 4 that I've done with the toy tops on the inside. And when it gets going really fast.
And you can't, when we had it at the gallery, you could really hear it, and it was, kind of magnified.
Kind of a horn. It's like a distant horn.
Right, what was going on in my head and everybody else's, because you get a kick out of it, my head.
Absolutely, yeah. But a lot of my work is about the kind of the intersection between the found and the fabricated. There's another piece that's behind here that is, I'll bring the smaller one over. But it's all made out of
that's also a part of vintage. The show.
Yeah, this is part of the show too. So these are this is a vintage toy here, but these are actually people's trophies from their bowling leagues. And so I'll back this piece up. put that over there, get a little bit of a shot of it. And so these bowling pins are from everywhere from the 40s and 50s all the way up till probably the 2000s. So like here's one here. That's probably reverse type, but it says the Girl Friday Bowling League on it. So they're all, I found them online, and the first ones I found were here in Southern California at a flea market. And there's just something really sexy to me about the shape of a bowling pin. It's very figurative in a lot of ways. And so in this particular piece and others, I've tracked them within the structure. So it's a fabricated steel rings or the spirals, and then they're actually welded inside there. And this piece is actually has a mount on the bottom that welds it into place too. But I like when things move. I like when they make noises, and I also like when they harken back to people's childhoods too.
Which speaks to me totally, as you know.
Yeah.
I love things that I think like child's play, you know, for the child inside of you as an adult. That totally
Absolutely
makes me happy. Well, I thank you, Erin Cramer, and I see you're sitting in your studio, which at one time belonged to Nancy LaRue. So we can segue into, after we look at Erin's studio, we can segue over to Nancy LaRue. Look at all that great stuff.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's do a longer one on Instagram whenever it's convenient for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, Nancy LaRue, are you still there?
I'm still here, but I'm trying to figure out how to put the video back. Oh, here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Hi, Nancy LaRue.
Hey, Erin Cramer, was that my piece? Did you take it from my storage, the bigger bowling ball piece? That was behind him. I have one. It's a great piece.
He owns two, though. Yeah. Did you steal that from Nancy LaRue's storage? So let's bring up one of Nancy's pieces, and then if you have them there, but just so, because it's dark, kind of dark where you are.
Okay.
Izzy, can you bring up one of Nancy's?
Yeah, I'll bring one of hers up.
So Nancy and I have I say it's like a private little thing between us, but it's not really that private. It really describes her work. Where at one time I was commenting about, I don't remember what show it was, but was reading the artist statements for something, and I think very simply, I don't speak even as a curator, I don't speak art speak, and I look at things like, ooh, I love that, and oh, that's pretty, or that makes me sad. You know, it's just a basic childish emotional reaction to work. And so Nancy's like, I don't know what to say. We were writing hers, and she said, okay, just say, I paint pretty and I paint creepy, you choose, or something like that. Or I paint creepy, I paint pretty, you choose. So these are sort of painted sculptures which have, I won't call them creepy, but they're fun and sort of otherworldly, and almost, there's a lot of whimsy in them. Tell us about Pod Person, because he has something special in his hat.
He does. I can grab him. So there's no deep meaning. I just do these for fun once in a while. Every few years I do a series, and usually I name them all Bob, but these have expanded. They're different. So this one, I don't know if you can see, they move around, but the pods have little faces on them.
I got it.
So that's pod people.
What, Howie?
I got it.
All right, Howie, turn your microphone
Somebody
off.
mute your microphone if you don't mind. Howie and whoever. Hi, Howie. So let's look at the other ones of Nancy's, if we can bring them up. There's a little more light on the screen, Nancy, so I'm going to go with pulling them here off of the, on the artsy page. We have four Nancy LaRue's in the show. We had 3 in fun. So this is, I have a favorite. This is my favorite here, Barnaby Buzzworth. What material are you using? Uh-oh, you're muted.
You're muted. She's muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, so they started off as cement sculptures because I was going to put them outside and they were really rough. So then I transformed them with paper clay, and then I was creating patterns that I became obsessed with. So it's photographic paper, it's plastic, there's a lot of stuff in them.
Fabulous. Can I see the other two? Nala, I know you're there. My dog is making this noise she makes when she's ready to eat. And it's like a little snorting noise, and she's sitting there going, you know, next to me like, hello, hello.
I think it's because she recognized me.
And it might be because she heard your voice. Patty Peanut. So one of the things that where Nancy and I really relate well together is this child side. And these are so playful, and Patty Peanut has doll arms. Later we're going to see other doll arms, but so you got some doll parts and attached them.
It's just whatever I find in the, you can't see it in the drawers behind me.
Okay, can we see the fourth one? Which I think is Whistling Wizard, which I also really, really love.
I don't really have a plan when I do these things. They just sort of happen, and then I name them as I go along.
The names are good. Well, Whistling Wizard, there he is. I love Whistling Wizard because I really see a lot of people I know in his face. Or just he looks like a real, you know, a real little tiny person that we all know. And a little happy guy. We started off, for those of you that were in the beginning, we had Pharrell Williams' I'm Happy song playing. And that's what I picture right now with Whistling Wizard. I can hear the song in the background. Okay, well, will you do an interview with me at another time, a longer one?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, you know, you don't have to.
Right? Are you surprised?
You don't have to. All right, thank you so much, my friend. And let's go over to Nicole Gordon. Nicole, are you with us out in Chicago?
I am here.
Okay, let me find you.
Here I am.
Here you are, but you're not showing up for me. There you are. Hey, Nicole.
Hi.
Hi. Are you near your art, or should I bring it up here?
I'm your one.
There you are. Okay. Oh, good. So I discovered Nicole also on Instagram, and I tell you, I can't get more thrilled about people I find on Instagram. I just think it's the greatest thing other than ice cream and a bath. So she just had a solo show at the Bellevue Arts Museum in Washington of these surrealistic, fun, well, it was a different show, but her work is very surrealistic and fun. And you want to tell us about this one, and then we'll bring up the other ones?
So this is a painting. I think it's really the most recent painting I've done.
Your sound is very staticky.
Here.
I don't know.
Okay, it's hard for me to hold it and show you at the same time.
Okay, let's have it. You know what, Nicole? Don't hold it. Izzy will bring it up here on the screen. Yay!
Perfect.
Okay. Gallery. There we go.
All right, awesome. Okay.
And we're going to go just through that, and then you and I will talk another time.
Perfect. So this painting was done pretty recently, and this has fun. It's got the slide. I love using amusement park rides and various stages of disrepair. But this particular one with the slide, I loved because it was so, this like feeling of thrill and enjoyment and fun mixed with also that feeling of total horror and not knowing what you might find at the end, and this big roller coaster feeling right now. It's this really, I did this piece about all the feels leading up to sort of this moment today.
Right.
And and the uncertainty. So yeah, it feels brighter and more fun today. Looking at
Yes,
it.
we're much brighter
than it
today.
has in the past.
You're still very, very garbled, and I don't know why, but
Is this
let's
better?
say something else.
Is this better? If I hold the phone a little closer to me?
No, it's still
I got a really old glitchy phone that my
okay.
kids
It's
keep
still good.
calling me.
Well, let's
So-
bring up. Okay, I'll talk about you, and you'll talk too.
Okay, great.
Okay, let's bring up Alice's garden or whatever comes up next. Let's see. There we go. So Alice's garden, and I use this for some of the promotion for fun because, I mean, this girl is sitting in her own bird cage outside, you know, with gorgeous colored stuff around her, watching TV outdoors. I mean, in the green, you know, garden. I mean, how could it? And there's what you can't see is there's a Mickey Mouse head coming through on the side. Am I right, on the upper right hand corner? Or is
Oh,
that
that's a different one. That's a different one.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, there's another version.
Okay, my bad. But I love this, and this is actually a very large painting. Is it about 8 feet, 10 feet?
5 feet by 6 feet.
I'm just off today. It's about 5 or 6 feet. I can't read, the faces are blocking the information. But anyway, I love this piece. Nicole has literally been working on it while we're prepping up to this show. On the larger version, you did a smaller version, right? First for the prints, maybe?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
A smaller study of it, which was oil on mylar. And I do that quite often if I've got something that I really have in mind, but it's got a lot of detail in it, and I want to make sure I get everything worked out sort of just right before I commit to the bigger scale, because I do love working on the big scale. Once I get there, I really want to kind of know my colors.
She had a print, your colors are amazing, amazing. She had a print sale of this and it sold out in a couple hours. So, but you can get the real one through BG Gallery for more fun. So can we see the other ones of Nicole's? We have 2 more. Sorry, you know, as I said, it separated them. It did some, when you put them into art, you make a design and then it does its own design. I think they're towards the bottom. Nala, I hear you, baby. There we go, the rainbow.
There you go.
So your block, there you go. Rainbow is not a color. Yeah. That piece. And we'll talk about, go ahead.
I said that's another pretty large painting as well.
40 by 60.
Yeah.
And then may I see the 4th one, Izzy? Nala is so mad at me. She's sitting there just going, making this little noise. And then here we go, California Overboard. And that was in the fun show. And then we, because Nicole sent that to us from Chicago, and the other, because we could have more since there's more fun and since it's online. So this one just knocks me out, the vintage, the swimmer, the circus, the graffiti, the you know, they're so surreal, but they're so fun and otherworldly and colorful. Your use of color is incredible. I love it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna go on to the next. I thank you for being here. I hope you'll stay on and talk to us. Thank you for doing this and for being a part of it. I appreciate it so much. Okay, let's go to Cindy Chin in Nebraska. Cindy, are you still there?
I am. Yes.
There you are. There's our Nebraska girl. How's it going there over in Nebraska?
It's windy today.
Yeah. Okay. I have to tell you all one thing about Cindy, which she told me when we were talking on the phone about a week ago. Cindy is also somebody I followed for quite a while on Instagram, and then Colossal did a thing on her and different art papers and online magazines that I follow. And so I wrote her on Instagram, and she does the carved pencil pieces, which you'll be seeing. We're going to do a special interview at another time. I say special because you won't tell us about it now. We'll talk about it later. But Cindy bought a school, not a little schoolyard, but a big school. And she lives and has her art studios and galleries within the school, which I just think is the coolest thing in Nebraska. So we're going to get a private tour of Cindy's school / which isn't really a school, but it's now her home. And what studio are we in right now? Because I know you have a lot of different studios within.
I call this my Nemo Studio.
Nemo?
See, my peacock I'm working on in the back, and it's
wow,
media, but it's mostly copper and brass, a little bit of wood.
Oh, I see. That's his feathers, and he's behind it. Wow.
Yeah, the wing. It's one of the wings.
And what is he made out of?
Yeah.
You froze. Uh-oh, you froze.
Brass, copper, wood, and wood. Oh, I'm not freezing here.
No, now you're with us. Now you're back.
For how long?
Let me see. You've got right there with you. You've got the pencil pieces. So I'm going to have Cindy show us those, and then we'll revisit them quickly on the. It looks like you've got the Zephyr, the train. Is that what I'm looking at right in front of you, Cindy? Do you want to grab that? Oh, we may have to bring it up in a photo too, Izzy, on the side, because the glare from the glass.
Yeah, it's just very small.
Do you have the other photos of it, the whole photo? Okay, we'll go with this. So everybody, you want to tell us she literally carves into the tip of the pencil. I mean, are you kidding me? I said to her, you must have the most incredible eyesight or the biggest magnifying glass ever. So how do you do that? You have to do the brief overview.
I actually use a microscope now.
Okay.
Originally, I was using a magnifying glass, like a lamp.
Amazing. And may I see the other, Izzy, would you bring the other ones up? How many years have you been doing that particular kind of work?
About 5.
That's it, 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done a lot of miniatures, but I had seen so many carved pencils and I thought, these are so cool, I want to try it. So the first pencil I carved was a train pencil, and it went viral.
Wow.
It still goes viral, and it's so bad compared to the ones I'm doing now.
Well, I'd never seen carved pencils before, so you're my first carved pencils I'd ever seen. And this one is called How Pencils Are Made. And they each come in a case, their own special case, so you can see the details in there. Erin Cramer, I would think you would appreciate this work. I don't know, I can see you relating to this.
I definitely do.
Yeah, the detail on, yeah.
Hey, can I just ask Cindy how long it takes to do this?
Please, Cindy.
Originally, the very first train I carved took me about, which again took me about 10 hours. And then I carved a lot of them, and I thought, well, I'll probably be quicker if I get a microscope. And I ended up now it takes them 20 hours.
You're freezing again.
You guys still there?
Yeah, you're freezing.
Oh.
But I can hear you. The first one was 10 hours,
Okay.
something was 20 hours.
The first one was 10 hours. And then I got a microscope, and now it takes me 20 hours.
Longer with the microscope.
Yes,
Wow.
because I can see more detail. I can put rivets on the trains and on the sides of the trains and spokes in the wheels.
they're amazing. Can I, Izzy, can you bring up another one? We should have the flowers and, oh my God, I wish Nala just, I may hand my dog just a little bit of food so she stops barking behind me while you talk. So this one, Cindy and I were texting last night, just needed some other information from her. And she said, you know, I have some colored pencils of some flowers. And I said, ooh, let me see those. Like, yes, I want them. Aren't they sweet and happy? So these are colored pencils. And what are the flowers made out of?
The flowers are actually crayon.
Oh, wow.
The flowers are actually crayon.
Wow.
Are you hearing me okay?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. The flowers are crayon.
These are amazing. Well, I'll let everybody know, I'll send out an email when we're gonna do our tour of Cindy's school. And so we'll get to go into more detail about everything. But I'm so happy to have you. It's really fun for me when I follow somebody. I don't know them, you know, before, but I follow you and then you say yes. That makes me like a kid who's getting a new puppy. So thank you so much. And speaking of new puppies, how's the new puppy?
She's tearing things up.
Okay, yeah, well, she's a puppy. All right, thank you so much. I think we should come back to California. And I'm just looking for my list here to see who's on. Let me see, my phone is freezing. How about Meryl Morrison? I saw you on there, Meryl. You wanna unmute yourself?
I'll be quick because I want to watch Joe at 5 o'clock.
I know. I didn't know if it was 5 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
It's 5
okay.
o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Uh-oh. Okay, we'll go fast. Okay, Meryl. So do you have them there?
This is one of my pieces. This is called knotting, and every stitch is a half hitch knot. The inside is styrofoam, which has been gessoed to be very hard. And then let's start at the bottom. These are just pinned on.
Oh.
Start at the bottom with a thicker core thread, and then I just take each thread here and make a double half hitch knot. My designs are always kind of worked out ahead of time.
Oh, look at that.
And so this is styrofoam under here, and then I will just add color where I need it and drop it where I don't. And I can just do whatever I want as long as I keep taking this and going around and around. And each piece takes hundreds of hours because there's so many knots.
Yeah.
It's just all knots, and it's totally solid inside. So.
Well, you know, I've been your fan for a long time. Meryl was also in the shows I did for the Children's Museum, so we go way back. And I forgot that he's speaking, so I'm gonna move through so you get to go see that. But again, I won't say it after each person, it's an open invitation for anybody who wants to do an Instagram one-on-one conversation. That would be fantastic. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Lorraine, I see you. Let's go to you. You want to unmute yourself? So this is Lorraine from People Who Look Like Art. Hello. Izzy, can we bring up, oh, it looks nice where you are. It looks like there's snow back there.
We're getting inches, 2 hours from LA.
Oh my God, I want to come over. Look at that. You lucky pup. Okay, so Lorraine is also somebody I follow on Instagram, and her page there is called People Who Look Like Art. And you will have so much fun. There's also a book available, but if you write down her Instagram, you won't believe how many people look like art when they go to art exhibits and art shows. So just tell us a little bit about, you know, what this is like for you and how you came up with this. And then Izzy, if you don't mind running through them, bringing them up. That would be great.
That one that's up now was from Freeze, that last show. And this is like a 5-year collection, or I don't know, addiction, or I don't know what it is. I just go to a lot of art fairs and shows and just look at the people and the art at the same time. And most of the people are standing right in the vicinity. Sometimes I'll walk them over to something, and that doesn't usually work out as well because it's hard to remember color and detail and stuff. And a lot of times when they match really well, I just assume it's the artist, which is not as much fun because artists do sometimes dress like their art. So this collection is all just people that were not the artists that were standing in front of the art. So.
I love this so much. I've only seen this happen once or twice at
it happens a lot. It really happens a lot.
It must happen a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can we see the other one? There's is there a fourth one we have?
Yeah, the last one was from one of the Miami fairs, and those are the best. That's where I get the best stuff is in Miami, just because people dress very oh no, this was in New York at the Armory show, and this guy was standing right in front of this piece, and I just assumed he was the artist because he looks a lot like that's how an artist would dress that painted that. Well, but he wasn't. I actually he was standing there for so long I had to interrupt him. He was talking to somebody else, and I said, "Do you mind if I take your picture?" And now I see him like at a lot of fairs. He's a designer that does like the VIP lounges and stuff there.
Oh, well, as I said to you in the fun show, he may, and I really wasn't, today I'm in a great mood, but I wasn't leading up to other than working on the fun show. And there's something about his face in particular that it's like he is getting such a kick out of the fact that he matches that.
And he did not realize he matched it. That's why he looks like that. He was standing in front of it talking to somebody and didn't realize he matched it. And so that's why he was like, and that a lot of people are like that because they don't remember what they were wearing. They just know they're attracted to those colors because they put them on,
Right.
They got dressed.
Right. Well, these are a joy. I love them, as you know. I thank you again. I'm going to hurry through for everybody that wants to watch The President-elect. And wherever you are, wherever it's snowing, let me know later where you are. I think I have to do a drive-by.
Idlewild.
Oh, you're in Idlewild.
Yeah.
Lucky you. Okay, thank you, honey.
Okay, bye.
Bye. And let's see who I've got. Let's go to Gregory Hordenski. I see you on there. I don't know if we've ever met in person.
No.
No, I don't think so, but I'm introduced to your work through OHM and through the gallery.
Hey, Gregory.
Yeah.
And this piece made me laugh. You may have to read it to us because it's hard to...
Right. It says, drawing is to art as masturbation is to sex. It's someplace you start. It's not the final destination. And
I love that.
Yeah, I know a lot of artists, budding artists, I don't know whether their teachers are doing it to them or what. They just spend too much time trying to master drawing. And they never get beyond drawing. They just spend their whole life, years drawing. And I think they're missing out on the most important part of art, which is actually, if you're going to be a painter, get the damn painting. Don't worry about drawing. Just start painting, and the drawing will come later. At least it did for me.
This is part of a whole new series Gregory's doing. It's the Fighting Words series. So there's a very humorous and very polarizing words in the pieces.
I just love this one. It really makes me laugh. And I mean, what I'm familiar with yours is where, the frames themselves, the art is, for those of you not familiar with his work, there's always often very detailed, like text of a book or lyric song or song scores or.
They're actually his, what's going on in his head while he's painting the picture.
Ah, even better. And then there's ones with Erin, again, you would appreciate this. There's one with a moving pinball, things that you can play. So he's a a renaissance and a mixed bag there, a good mixed bag of candy.
Thank you. Yeah. But the reason I'm getting more into text on the imagery is because as I'm getting older, I'm getting arthritis. And it's harder to paint these texts on the frames that require a lot of careful lettering.
Because it's so tiny.
A wherewithal to do that. But I still want to tell some stories or get a conversation going. And that's why I started like these graffiti paintings in which I'm almost like desecrating a landscape or something by painting text over some guy tried to paint this painting here, and this clown count and puts all this text across it, sprawls all across it. Yeah. Drawing imagery here, there's a drawing under there of people having sex.
Oh, it is? And I saw palm trees, I thought.
Right, yeah, it's covering up. Like over here, you see the woman's breasts, nipples, and the guy is coming across this way. The woman's leg comes back up this way.
Oh.
The underlying structure outlined in red is people having sex.
I'll have to, well, that works for me.
Yeah.
I'll have to, that fits in the subject of more fun.
Yeah, right, you would think, yeah.
Right? Well, I'm happy to meet you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
and I'm excited to see the whole new body of work.
Thank you, yes. Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, it's a lot of fun painting, and it's great to meet all you folks, and hopefully we can do more.
Yes, I think we should have fun forever. Okay, I'm going to go over to my friend who I haven't seen him forever, Don Fritz, who I've never met in person, but who, when I first started in my art career, was in all of my early shows at the Children's Museum. Don, are you there? Okay, you got to unmute yourself.
Okay, there we go.
Hello.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Yeah, it's been a long, well, I guess I never have met you, but I have, remember this piece?
Of course I'm going to remember it. That's actually one of my favorite pieces of yours ever, the Pinocchio.
Yeah, and so I loved Aaron's work where he combined the antique, this like an antique.
I remember that you had the
toy?
vintage, the little fez hat with the vintage.
Pinocchio's hat.
Yes. So, so Don works in ceramics. I'll let you tell them about. Izzy, you want to bring up that piece for us? House of Mouse. There we go. So what I love about this, Don, and about your particular ceramics is often is the dimension. Again, there's all the sense of play and with, you know, not iconic, but familiar Jack and Jill, the little sort of clown bozo-y kind of character. Of course, the mouse, the numbers, the colors, all these things in that. And I love that it is ceramic, you know, that it's this juxtaposition and this one that has the little alcove in it. So how does this come to be in your head? Are a lot of these imagined ahead of time, or are you just sitting down and
No, not really. You know, a lot of my work is, you know, I guess I'm mythologizing, you know, my life. I'm a baby boomer. I lived in Europe when I was a child, and I started collecting toys and objects in my travels. I had this Jaeger hat. Can you guys see this? This is a Jaeger hat that children wear.
Germany?
And everywhere you go, different countries, you collect a little pin. And so then you put them on your hat. So they're souvenirs. So, you know, really my art is, it's kind of like I'm making souvenirs that are reflection of my experiences in life. And since we moved so much when I was a kid, you know, my dad was in the service. We moved all the time and I lived all over the country. I lived in Europe. I've kind of collected things and wanted to keep them as mementos to kind of remind me of where I was and what I did. So, you know, childhood and the iconography of childhood and popular culture is important to me.
Right.
I think it has a big influence in the things we see and the toys we play with, how we construct our identity. And that's kind of given to us by our parents and our culture. And that also reflects, you know, certain biases and certain stereotypes and other things, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun for me to celebrate these things from my past. And I love the material of ceramics because it's kind of a material metaphor in terms of our strength and fragility, and how childhood is this imagined place of, you know, joyfulness and playfulness, but it's also a time where we're really vulnerable, and you know, we fall and we break our wrist, and we, you know, we have these scars that are help us, you know, build our character. As James Joyce said, nothing can be whole that has not been rent. That in the breaking and the putting back together, we become who we are, and, you know, whole people. I don't want to get heavy or philosophical, but there is a side of my work which I usually don't talk about because it turns people off. It's like the philosophy. I start talking about Nietzsche and Joyce and different people that have influenced what I do, psychoanalysis. And
well, you're also a teacher, aren't you?
I'm a teacher, yes. I studied psychology in college, and I kind of flipped on that and went back to my roots of my mother was an artist and my father was a photographer and made amateur films, and I thought, well, yeah, you know, I just want to do what's fun. I'm studying, I'm like at college, I'm like, God, I have to figure out what I'm going to do in my life, and it's like I'm not having fun.
Right.
So I took off, traveled around Europe, spent a year basically just going to museums, going back to where I lived when I was a child, taking a lot of photographs, collecting a lot of memories. And yeah, so then I started to get into art, and I thought, well, it's okay. You know, my mom did it, my sister does it. It's like, yeah, I'll just make art. And I've really enjoyed it. And I ended up being a teacher. I never imagined I would, but I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed helping to mentor young people, to give them, you know, advice and help them build their skills, and give them the ability, you know, let them know it's okay, you know, it's okay. You could be an artist. You don't have to make money. There's all kinds of success in life. It's not all material. It's not all dinero. You know, just surviving and making art is a great accomplishment. And I'm like 70, you know, and it's like somehow my life has come together and I've survived and I've done what I love to do. It's just like a gift. I'm so thankful.
You know what? I'm really, really happy to hear you say that. I haven't heard it quite. I love, it's okay. It's okay to not make money, and it's okay to, you know, and you're happy. I mean, you could make money or not make money.
Play.
Yeah, it's play.
And be happy. And, you know, my process in ceramics is, it's ancient. It comes from Japan. It's called Raku Firing. And it involves painting your ware with glaze and putting it in the kiln and taking it out right when it melts, and putting it in a container with combustible material, and all this magic happens, and nature gets in there and decides where the soot's going to get deposited and what kind of, you know, copper flashing you're going to get. And it's this interaction of spontaneity in the moment. And it actually means happiness in the moment. The name came from the pleasure palace of the Emperor of Japan. And he hired a Korean to come up with a glazing process that he could use for his tea cups in his teapot. So when he was celebrating you know, meditative moments with his tea in his garden, there wouldn't be this noise of the teapot, you know, setting down with a loud clink, you know, on the table. A raku isn't fired as high than as vitreous, so it's more, well, they call it punky. It's a dull sound. It's more quiet. And they would put the teapot in, or the cup in the kiln, and take it out, and it would be hot. They pour the tea in, and wow, you'd have a sip. Hello, let's enjoy life.
Well, this is fascinating. I want to talk to you more another time. Would you do that with me?
I will. I'm sorry to ramble on, but thank you so much.
No, it's fascinating to me. I'm just
kudos to everybody. I really I love what I've seen, and I'm so honored to be a part of this. Thank you for including.
I'm getting off as soon as you want.
I'm so, somebody's unmuted. I'm so happy because you've never left my mind. Your work has never left my mind, just so that you know that. I haven't reached out to you in so long, but you've
Thanks,
been
Kate.
here. So
okay.
I'm really happy.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Betsy Clark, are you still on, or did we lose you? Okay, Danny Kaplan. Are you there, Danny?
I'm here. Hi.
Hi. Oh, look, there they are behind you.
They are.
Hi, Danny Kaplan. So, Danny also, Dawn and Erin and everybody, Danny was also in the Zimmer Children's shows. And should we bring them up, or do you want to take us back there to see them, or should we bring them up on the screen?
Well, I'll bring them over. Here's a few.
Oh my gosh.
There's Buddy. That's one that's on.
Buddy's
So
in
these
the
are all
show.
recycled doll parts, antique doll parts that I epoxy resin and sculpt together the pieces, and create these fun little creatures that all have their own little personalities and stories. And so that's those. The other one that's in the show is these wall-mounted trophies.
Oh, wow, because I hadn't gotten to see one really actually up. Oh, they're so trippy, and they're so well done.
Oh, thank you.
They're so well done. Danny's father had bought a doll parts factory, and right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, he's an antique collector, and went out and found an antique doll factory that was going out of business in Indiana, and bought thousands of doll parts and couldn't get rid of them. So called me and said, come and take them away and do something with them. So I did. Like a good son. Yeah.
Has your dad gotten one yet? Did you gift him one?
Not yet, actually. It's a good.
If he's watching,
probably should bring him.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. They're just fantastic. So we have 3 in the show. Later on, anybody who wants to go back on, since we're working towards Biden's speech, go and look at them on the Artsy page or on the BG site. And but we've got 3. We've got Celeste, who was in Fun. There's Celeste. And she's the first one, right, that you made?
Yeah, she's the first one I've ever made.
And the back, by the way, everybody, has a little bit of like a hollowness. You can sort of see inside of them, and they're painted like, there you go. She's blue inside.
Which you can't quite see there, but.
In her butt. And then we have Herschel, and we have
Buddy.
Yeah. Well, those are just fantastic. Just quickly, this came to be Danny and I, just as a quick little fun note, Danny and I were on the phone talking dogs, because there he is.
Gee.
She is. Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Juby. So we were talking rescue dogs, because this little one had just come to him 5 days before, and I volunteered in dog rescue for a long time. And at the very end of the conversation, about an hour or more into it, we hadn't talked for years and years, probably 7 or 8 years, right? At the very end, I said, hey, by the way, you still making art? And he's like, oh, yeah, I just, my dad, I had these doll things. I just made 1 or 2 of them. And then he shows me, he texts me, and I said, I have to have that. And then suddenly he had like 10, a few weeks later. He went on a rampage making them. I think they're brilliant, as you know.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy to have you.
Thanks.
And Danny's background, everybody, who's an architect and a filmmaker. So he's a true Renaissance man and a Renaissance artist. Okay, thank you. Linda Smith, I see you sitting there. So I'm going to have you tell us about your totem and your paintings.
Well,
we're going to bring it up. Oh, look, you are there, and it looks great.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
I'm trying to. It's very difficult to manipulate this.
It's okay. It's just not as vibrant. So in real life, everybody, it looks like blue and white porcelain, like, really deep, vibrant, strong colors. See on the website.
Stoneware. But it's reversed on this camera. Everything is a little crazy reversed.
Okay, but that's good, because Izzy can bring it up also on the
yeah, and it's much bigger. I mean, you have the whole thing.
There you go. That's a great shot.
Yeah, it's hard to photograph. They need it to be outside or something when you photograph.
But you can see how vibrant it is. I wanted everybody to see how deep the colors are and how vibrant. Nancy LaRue, who's also on here, owns one of Linda's.
My first totem, I'm so happy she has it.
So this is also a funny, sweet little story. The day or so after Linda finished this, or right when she put it in her house, she posted It's in the living room. I'd seen it in process on Instagram. And suddenly, and I thought, wow, I know that they take a while to put together. And I said, it was like the night before the installation for fun. When we were
I had to go. I had help from Raku Gordon.
You just put together, but would you bring it over tomorrow morning? and boom, it was there. So it's beautifully done. It's great. By the way, the faces on several of them, everybody, go around. So it's two-sided on many of the faces. And then what does the bird represent? Anything or just happens?
You know, I work in my backyard, you know, in my studio, and the birds are always coming, you know. It just, I guess it's a sign of hope. You know, I think my stuff, you know, I've always been involved with heads, and it's about relationships too, heads and how people interact and dependency, I think. Anyway, head has been a vehicle, but the bird kind of like, it's like a joyful, free thing, or maybe it's just whimsical, but I always feel like it needs something on the head. Like I did stuff, heads on heads, but then I would put stuff on heads, like you know, like my ex-husband loved cars, so I did a head of him with a car on the head, you know, because you know, people I don't know, I just felt like it's a vehicle, but I love to have launched something on, like your dreams on your head or something. But I'm also involved with patterns, so I love color and pattern, and I just always have loved color and pattern. And even before I did ceramics, I was involved with the same things. Even when I was 16, I noticed I just gravitated to the same things, you know, with Matisse and Picasso, and I just always figurative stuff coming from the East Coast, and like I always connect with the San Francisco artists more than the low-key, laid-back California. Although it's lovely, it's beautiful, you know, like Terrell and you know, all the Dan Flavin. I mean, I appreciate all that, but I guess I'm being from the East Coast. I a European background, you know, not European myself, but I always connect with the figurative, and I love clay. I'm addicted.
Can I would like to show Izzy, if you don't mind, your painting, the doggy painting.
Oh, sure. And the funny thing, I have it here, but it's, well, maybe it's better to put it on the screen, because
okay, we'll put it on the screen.
Put it on the screen.
And I only knew Linda's work as a ceramicist before, and suddenly I saw these paintings, and they were fabulous, and they're older. It's from 1999.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I was always involved with patterns and heads and animals. And before I did the dog on it, it was it's way back, 1999. And I was painting, and then I said, oh, it needs something. I had all this colorful stuff. I said, it needs something. So I sketched the line with the black dog. And then like a few days later, a stray dog showed up at my house.
Perfect timing.
And became my dog. So I was like calling my dog or something. It was a very mystical kind of experience.
It's perfect. Well, I love that puppy. He makes me very happy.
Yeah, well, Priscilla made me very happy. But I did this before I met Priscilla.
That's okay. It was your premonition. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I think we have one more artist on there. Maybe Ryan Schutte, are you with us? I saw your name up there. Did we lose you?
Hello?
Ryan Schutte?
Hi.
There you are. Hi. Nice to see you. Thanks for sticking it out. You know what? Let's bring up O first, because that one I'm going to have Izzy bring up. Can we leave Ryan's head and bring up O's?
You want me to share my screen? I could do it.
Sure, if you want to do it that way. Then we don't get you at the same time.
Oh.
Okay, I just want to say that about O, but now I lost you, Ryan. Are you still there? And I'm just not seeing you, but everybody else is? Okay,
Yeah, good.
I hope so. Okay, there you are. I told you this last time, but I saw this piece at the LA Art Show in BG Gallery's booth, however many years ago, let's say 5, I don't know what it was, 4 or 5 years ago. And I would navigate my way through that part of the show by looking for her face because I could see it and I couldn't stop staring at her. So I would be like 5 aisles down and I'd be like, I can find my way back if I find that redhead with the cute face and freckles. So it stuck with me. And I literally said to I wish, it's probably long gone, but I wish we could get Ryan Schuette's The Redhead. And he goes, I have it here. He's storing it here. So it was perfect. So she was with us in Fun and now she's here in More Fun. And I want to bring up the other one too. And I know I went and checked her out, watched her get older on her, you put her name somewhere, Facebook or Instagram. So I went to her and looked at how she's looked, growing up. And it was so sweet because I felt like I saw you as a youngin'. Yeah. So your sense of humor is always a delight to me. So tell us about Grandma here.
So this is Carol Lynn Black, and I met Carol probably over 10 years ago now when she submitted to a casting call for a wider tableau scene that I had done. And I photographed her several times since then. This is actually a collaboration with another photographer, Ross Fahey, and he was in town and wanted to work on something. And, I just called Carol up and said, let's do a portrait of her in her living room. So this is her hanging out. That's her nightgown. I'm going to really quick, there's a lot of details to look at, which if you zoom in, but the one to point out is the painting of her is
with the dart in her head.
Yeah, is from the Betty White show where she was an extra, and they for some reason made this prop painting of Carol that she got to take home and promptly put on her wall. So
how great is that? As an extra, how great is that?
Yeah. So
where does she live? Is she in California?
Yeah, this is in Highland Park, right down the street from my house. So I should check in on Carol, see how she's doing. But she had a lot of fun doing this. So appropriate pick.
So just tell me this before we go. How do you get the move? Is this one take? How are you getting it in action? Is it put together? Because there's always so much going on in your photos.
We played with trying to get the arrow in one shot, and we got a couple. They just weren't quite right. So the string, as you can see, the bend in the string is a real action that from her shooting it. But we did kind of cheat the arrow a little bit and just kind of hold it in the place where we wanted it and then strip that in later. But for the most part, it's all, she was shooting arrows across her room for a while, so.
I had an Aunt Rose who she reminds me of, which is part of the reason I love this. My Aunt Rose would have done exactly that. And she was also an extra in lots and lots of shows.
Oh, cool.
So I think that's why I get such a kick out of her.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan's work, everybody, I was introduced to several years ago through BG Gallery, and he's had a number of solo shows with them and shows with them, and has quite a few books out and other available works, not in this show, but on the BG Gallery page. And forgive me for rushing through, but I know that I'm over my time, and the president-elect is speaking. But anytime, I know you've done a number of them, but if you want to do a just you and me kid conversation on Instagram, I'd love to do one with you.
We'll do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, have I left anybody? Betsy Clark is the only other person who RSVP'd, unless I'm forgetting somebody. So if any of the other artists from More Fun are here, would you speak up or forever hold your peace? No? Okay. Everybody, I had a blast. This was a great day all the way around. The exhibit is up for 3 months. We'll be doing all kinds of ongoing social media things and interviews, and we'll just keep it going, keep sharing it. And let's all stay in touch. And I'm very, very, very appreciative to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful work from everyone.
Thank you.